Okay, negative coefficients. This is going to get a little tricky, so bear with me. 5x is less than 30. All right, so we solve that algebraically. Divide both sides by 5, and that means that x has to be less than 6. Okay, so let's take a look at that real quick. So here's x and here's 5x. Let's say that x is equal to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, we'll just take a look at those numbers right there. Okay, so when x is equal to 4, 5 times 4 is 20. Is that less than 30? Question mark? Yes. What if x is equal to 5? Right, okay. So 5 times 5 is 25. Is that less than 30? Yes. What about when x is equal to 6? 5 times 6 is 30. Is 30 less than 30? No, it is not. Okay. 5 times 7 is equal to 35. Is that less than 30? No. And 5 times 8 is 40. Is that less than 30? No. So this kind of makes sense that x has to be less than 6. If x is 4, we're good. If x is 5, we're good. If x is 6, no good. 7, no good. 8, no good. Okay. Bear with me a little bit here. All right, so if we take what we have done in algebra up until this point with solving equations, we divide both sides by -5. Okay, and I encourage people, divide both sides by -5. That leaves you with 1 positive x over here is less than -6. Okay, so let's take that. X has to be less than -6. So we'll go with, what's the number that's less than -6? -8 is less than that. -7 is less than that. -6 equals -6. -5, -4, and -3, I guess. We'll just give that a shot. Okay, so, and is it less than 30? Okay, so we'll say x is equal to -8. -5 times -8, that's positive 40. Is that less than 30? 40. Is that less than 30? No, it is not. What about when x is equal to -7? -5 times -7 is positive 35. Is that less than 30? 35 is not less than 30. The answer is no. All right, when x is equal to -6, -5 times -6 is positive 30. Is that less than 30? No, it's equal to 30. And this is not one of those where you can be equal to, so no. Now, let's get here. This is where it gets a little interesting. -5. -5 times -5 is positive 25. Is that less than 30? Yes. -4. -5 times -4 is positive 20. Is that less than 30? 20 is less than 30. Yes. And -3. -5 times -3 is positive 15, which is less than 30. So yes, and here's where things get funny. When I did out this solution, I thought x had to be less than -6. Well, these are the numbers that are less than -6, right? Think of temperature. Which temperature is less than another temperature? -8 is a lesser temperature than -6, and yet we said no, right? When x is equal to -8, it comes out to 40, which is not less than 30. That's weird, right? -7 is less than -6. And when I put -7 in, -5 times -7 is positive 35, and that's not less than 30 either. So these numbers that are supposed to be, -8 and -7, these are supposed to be part of my solution. They are not, right? So if I were to graph my solution over here, right? So there's an arrow and an arrow, less than 6. So that would be 6, 7, 8, and 5, and 4. Here, 4 and 5 are good, less than 6. Okay, so less than 6, we're good. Our solution, 4 and 5 work. When I put 4 and 5 in over here, they're less than 6. Everything remains less than 30. We're happy. But over here, I'm supposed to draw x is less than 6, excuse me, x is less than 6, okay, so I can do that. Here's negative 6, negative 5, negative 4, negative 7, negative 8. I'm supposed to be less than negative 6 moving in this direction, and yet they're telling me when x is equal to negative 8, that doesn't work. That's out. And negative 7, no, that doesn't work either. Right? And negative 6, we knew that wouldn't work. But they're telling me negative 5, yes, negative 4, negative 3. So they're saying that our line should actually be going in this direction, right? And so why is that? Well, this is one of those things, I just tell kids, this is one of those things that you just got to memorize. And I make up a little song that when the coefficient's negative, then baby you're gonna have to flip the sign. It's modeled after that Justin Bieber and Ed Sheeran song, but whatever. Negative 5 is the coefficient here, and positive 5 is the coefficient here. And when your coefficient is negative, you're gonna have to flip the sign, because when you divide both sides by a negative, then that's when you flip the sign, and this isn't your solution anymore. Instead, it should be x is greater than negative 6. That's your solution. And so if we come down to our table here, the numbers that are greater than negative 6, right? So if I continue with this table down, you know, negative 2, negative 1, 0, we could go with something like, you know, positive 3, right? Positive 3 is definitely greater than negative 6. And let's try positive 3. Negative 5 times positive 3 is negative 15. Is negative 15 less than 30? You bet it is. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot less than that. So yeah, positive 3, if I followed this up, you know, positive 3, well, that'd be somewhere way off the table, you know, way out here. Excuse me, pardon my cough. So yeah, this is actually what your graph should look like. Well, I mean, now it's a little ugly. We should clean it up a bit. But the correct graph should look like this. A circle around the negative 6 and everything moving in this direction. Okay. And your solution, yeah, is x is greater than negative 6. So when that coefficient is negative, as soon as you divide both sides by a negative, you're going to have to flip the sign. And the same is going to be true when you multiply by a negative. So here we go. Quick example, if this is like, I don't know, n over negative 3 is less than 2, okay? Well, to solve this one, I'm going to multiply this side by negative 3, multiply this side by negative 3, and as soon as I do that, my sign is going to flip, and instead of Pac-Man eating in that direction, he's going to have to turn back and face this direction. So on this side, I still have my 1n, just like I always did, but 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. My answer is n is greater than negative 6. Excuse me. Yep. As soon as you multiply both sides by a negative, you have to flip that sign around. And yeah, it's a tricky part. It's just something students have to memorize. Yeah, and there's a song we sing, which I'm not going to sing for you right now, maybe some other time.